Hello, my name is Romy, Casty Baby's on my bed, and last year I said, hey Romy, I'd like you to try and reread some of these books that you love, that you've been wanting to reread for a long time. And I set aside 10 books from my bookshelf to reread and review in 2019. They were I finished and reviewed 8 out of 10 books. I am currently reading The Girl Who Circumnavigated Fairyland in a Ship of Her Own, written by Catherine and Valenti, and I'm loving it. And I still have Northern Lights to read. But, I don't know, there was going to be a but I've forgotten it. So anyway, I really enjoyed doing that. As the year came to a close and I had still got like 4 books in the pile, I was a little concerned, maybe just a tiny little bit stressed about it, but overall I really enjoyed it, and I really enjoyed revisiting books that mean a lot to me. I did not enjoy all of them. I did not remember all of them exactly how I thought I did, but it was a really good experience, and I'm going to do it again this year, but I'm upping the stakes by 2. So for 2020 I would like to read 12 books from my bookshelf that I've been wanting to reread. And that does not include finishing Fairyland and Northern Lights. They're just additional. I love books. I cherish books. I am a storyteller at heart. And I have a really, really, really beautiful bookshelf. And I have a lot of books that I love and a lot of books that I want to revisit. This year I'm also going to be attempting to read a few complete series, but I'm only going to be counting the first book as one book, because otherwise it's like, hey, I want to read this whole series and that's 10 books. None of them are 10 books, but you maybe get the point. So let me go and pick some books off my bookshelf that I've been really wanting to reread, and we'll be back momentarily with 12 new fantastic books. I'm excited. Another year of 3 from the same favourites shelf. That bodes well. Does it though? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that bodes well at all. In stunning turn of events, I have just picked a book off my bookshelf that I have never actually read. There's gonna be a new book in here, and it's an autobiography. Or a biography. An authorized biography. It's too tall! I can't reach it! Book! I need you! Ah, I got it. I've got 11. Oh no! I can only pick one more. I've got so many books I want to read though. I've just seen 3 books that I want to reread, and I'm like, could it be the 2020? It could. It could. I have picked all my books, and there's a remarkable blue tone to these books this year. There are a couple more that I obviously want to reread, all of them. Not actually. Most of them. But, I've just seen another. But I can pick books off my bookshelf anytime, and these are just the ones I want to make sure I read this year. I'm really struggling not just to get an extra 10. Let me think about this for a minute. No, okay. I just needed to let myself know that I could pick an extra 8 if I wanted, but I'm not going to. Okay, we're ready to go. So I've picked up 12 books that I'd like to read this year. I'm not sure if I'm going to review them all. Honestly, I probably will, but I'm not going to put any pressure on myself to have that as one of the standards of requirement, if you will. So in no particular order, the 12 books that I would really love to reread in 2020 are The Book of Days by K.A. Barker. I actually received this as a review copy a couple of years ago, and I just loved it. It sounds like the most glorious book ever, like magic, like otherworldly magic, very magical, a wonderful adventure, and I just really like to delve into it. It's also got lovely typography, and I am a sucker for typography. I love typography. The Thief Lord by Cornelia Funke. I don't think this was my first Cornelia Funke book. I believe it was Inkheart or Dragon Rider. I think it was Inkheart or Dragon Rider. And I owned this for a couple of years before actually reading it. I love the film. I really need to buy a copy of the film because it's so good and I really want to re-watch it. And I watched it a lot of times when I was little and still didn't read the book till like 5 years later. But this is such a beautiful book and I cannot wait to get back into it. Oh, I feel like reading it now. Otto and the Flying Twins by Charlotte Hapsey. I would like to read this whole series. There's 3 books in the series. It's beautiful and magical and otherworldly and just fantastic. And look at that shiny cover. It's amazing. This is an old copy, so there's like a heap of fading along the top. I love it. I'm switching out a book. I picked a book off and I'm going to put it back and choose something else. I knew the book, I probably should be in frame. I knew the book I was going to choose. And I've changed my mind. That's okay. A late minute swap out. Coraline by Neil Gaiman. This again was a review copy previously. So for review copies, I was sent these free of charge from publishers or authors. I believe these ones are all from publishers though. When I had a book review blog, and they would give me books I requested and sometimes books I didn't request, and I would give an honest review in return. I will of course note that in my reviews, but just so you know, this was a review copy originally. It is a beautiful, beautiful edition, 10th anniversary edition, with an introduction by the author, but the main thing was that it was illustrated by Chris Riddell. I don't think I'd read Coraline before then, and I was shocked by how dark and ruddy scary it was. Chris Riddell is one of my favourite illustrators, and I love his work, and I love Neil Gaiman's work, and I'm excited to read this again. House Moving Castle by Diana Wynne Jones. I recently did a closet cosplay of Hal and Sophie, and the film is, I think, my all-time favourite film. It is absolutely beautiful. The book is very different from the film. Also, one of my favourite books, absolutely beautiful. I want to read the whole series. This is my favourite book in the series. There's 3 books. I want to read the whole series this year, but I'm definitely going to read this one. Fruits Basket by Natsuki Takaya. I'm actually in the process of completing my series of this because I have read all of the books, manga, but I don't own all of them. I own a bit over half, but I'm missing a few copies here and there. But that has really inspired me to want to delve into this beautiful manga again, and I really want to read the new series, which I believe is called Fruits Basket again, or Another Fruits Basket. But this year I'm going to read the whole manga. I'm so excited. Kitchen Princess by Natsumi Ando. This again is one that I'm going to read the whole series of. I've just bought the last omnibus, which means my series is complete. So this is volumes 1 and 2 in one omnibus. One of my favourite mangas. I think this was actually the first manga I ever read. And I just love it. It's so cute. I'm looking forward to it. Graceling by Kristen Cashore. Anyone know the story about Castor's name? Castor, my dog, was originally named after Katza, the main character in this. I've talked about this many times. I think it's hilarious. I read the book, love the character, love the name. A few years later I was getting a puppy. I was like, I love that name. And then I talked about it online and someone was like, that's not the name. And it wasn't the name of the character, and this is Katza. My dog's name is Castor. Fun story. I don't believe I've read that since having Castor, and I am very intrigued to see how I feel about it now. The Giver by Lois Lowry. I have read this a couple of times actually. I don't love this cover, and yet this is the cover I chose when I was buying myself a copy of it. I must have loved it at the time. This is such a beautiful, inspiring book, and I have just remembered 2 things I wanted on my list. Oh no, this is, well, oh well, that's unfortunate. This is bizarre stuff. Did I just pick books off my bookshelf last year? I did. I didn't write a list, I just remembered 2 series that I wanted to read. Okay, anyway, this is a beautiful book, and I always enjoy reading it. It's so stunning. I have only read this book in the series. I never could get into the other ones, but I always wanted to be able to. I'm just planning on reading this as a standalone though. A Wrinkle in Time by Madeline L'Engle. Look how gorgeous this cover is. It's got the nicest illustrations. This book I truly, truly adore. Hold that thought. I'm actually going to be reading this in tandem with the graphic novel by Hope Larson, I believe. I don't have this in this bookshelf, I was just looking for it. That was actually my introduction to this book. It is such a stunning graphic novel, and I believe I actually preferred it to the book. So I'm going to read them in tandem and give my feelings. Here's this book, the novel. Here's this book. This not here, but I'm going to read it. Meg is a character that when I read the graphic novel, not so much the book, but that I identified with so much. It was like reading about myself, and I'm really interested to see if I feel like that now, a couple of years later. Life, Art, Words by Tove Jansson. I got this as a review copy. This was a review copy back in the day that I requested, and I never reviewed because I never ended up reading it, which is a shame, and I should have, but I didn't. This is an authorized biography. I recently have, over the probably past year, I have really, really grown to adore the Moomin books and that whole world and story and experience, and have been reading a lot of the Moomin books, listening to the audiobooks. I have Moomin journals. I really love the Moomins, and I have been wanting to delve back into this book, which is going a little moldy. So I need to clean. I've been really wanting to delve back into this book and get more than like 40 pages into it and read about the incredible creator behind the incredible story. So that's the one I haven't read yet. And finally, The Little Prince pop-up book by Antonio de Saint-Exupéry, and I do not think that is at all how you pronounce his name. I'm sorry. This book I actually saw in an airport bookshop many, many years ago, like over 10 years ago, I'd say, or a long time ago. And then I got home from that trip and I looked it up online and bought it for half the price. And The Little Prince I adore. The Little Prince is stunning, one of my favourite books. And I'd really like to actually sit down and read this pop-up book because it's got pop-ups, and I recently watched the musical, which is, I mean, it's a really strange experience because it's like the book, but it's also like very, very bizarre. And it's a musical, and it's got Gene Wilder in it as the fox, amazing, which I really enjoyed, but it was also like a very odd experience. So it's time to reread the book. The other books that I realised halfway through, and I have just remembered 2 things I wanted on my list, oh no, that I wanted to read and that I hope I will read this year as well are the Anne of Green Gables series, because I've only ever read 3 of the books. I've read Anne of Green Gables, I can see them on my bookshelf now, Anne of Avonlea, and where's the other one? Anne of the Island. I have those in my beautiful rainbow Puffin Children's Classics, I believe, series, and I really want to read the whole series. The whole story of Anne and Gilbert and Anne, and just revel in the beauty of one of my favourite series. And I also really want to read the whole Little Women series. I haven't read Little Women in quite a while. Coughing fit. I haven't read Little Women in quite a while, and again, I have only ever read the first book, but I own beautiful editions, especially of Good Wives. I own the most beautiful edition of Good Wives, and I really, really want to read the whole thing, not just the first book. So they, hopefully, I will read as well. But these are my 12, and I am really excited to get into them. They're so happy looking there. bit inspiration. So, that is my 2020 12 books of 12 that I want to read in 2020. Now, doesn't that just roll off the tongue? I will see you soon with my first review, I am sure. I had a great time doing this. I'd encourage you to choose some books that you want to reread and just decide, hey, this year I'm going to reread them because it's fun and I enjoy it, so maybe you will as well. That's all from me. Bye for now. Bye from Cassie, who is asleep. A lot more settled than she was when this video started, when she could hear dogs barking. And I will see you again soon. Bye. Hello, my name is Romy. Cassie baby is on my bed. Looking slightly perturbed.